All right, fellas, let's get into our favorite subject on the Sports PSP podcast. That is Babyface or Heel. Now, for those who may not know what Babyface Heel means in wrestling terminology, Babyface is a good guy, a heel is a bad guy, and a tweener is someone in between Babyface or Heel. Des Bryant.
He's a tweener for me. He's a tweener for me. I'm, because I don't know, some of his, I guess, being out of the league, some of his stances that he's taken, I don't necessarily like agree with some of his stances that he's taken, but I think he's a tweener just from the standpoint of like when you look at what he did on the field for the Dallas Cowboys and how good of a wide receiver he was, but in the fact that he showed up week in, week out, no matter the situation, he balled. It was a catch. I don't support the Dallas Cowboys that much, but if you hear me say something like, if you hear me say that, you know which playoff game I'm talking about. It was a catch. Argue with your mom. That was a catch against the Green Bay Packers. So for what it's worth, but yeah, for me, he's a tweener. Yeah, just some stances I haven't necessarily agreed with. I've agreed with him on some of his stances. Some of his stances I don't agree with. But in terms of just on the field, you couldn't question the work ethic. You couldn't question the effort. You couldn't question what he gave you week in and week out, being the number one, being the X for the Dallas Cowboys. Just the impact that he made and how good he was for as long as he did it down there. Yeah, I ain't gonna make it too long, but yeah, for me, Des Bryant's a tweener.
Big fella.
Tweener. Especially after he said what he said about when he was in the league about Colin Kaepernick's stance about the kneeling. When he said the first thing that he said, "Well, I got a family to feed," because remember on the Dallas Cowboys, you know, Jerry said if you kneel for the anthem, then you must
Hand on your hard, toes on the line.
yes. So he said that hey, I got a family to feed, and you know, my people has been done more damage to me than any other. You think about a lot of things that he have said back then versus now, it's like a 360. But at the same time, like I always say, 1,000 attaboys is erased by one aw shit. So there was a few aw shits in his lifetime, but I think now it has gotten progressively better. And it's not just because someone agrees with you that we say it's getting better. It's all about logic and fairness. It's about logic and it's about fairness. So his logic and fairness has gone up. His self-awareness is better. And I admire the fact that, hey, he's still a big part of the Cowboys, although hasn't played for them for years. So, hey, I admire what he has done. He was deadly during his time. Dez Bryant was one of the 88s, part of the 88 club. I mean, from Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, to himself, and now CeeDee Lamb. Hey, gonna be interesting to see who is the true 88. But
it's something about that number. It's something about that number in Dallas, boy.
Hey, look, but the thing is that number is synonymous with one person, Michael Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. That's how come he said, I never want 88 to be retired. Because every time somebody drop a ball, they say, hey, Michael Irvin wouldn't have dropped that ball. Every time that somebody catches a ball, they say that's exactly how Michael Irvin would have caught it. So Dez Bryant is tweener, and I feel like sometimes he really did get a bad rap in the NFL as far as.
Oh, do you remember Jeff Ireland, the former GM?
Yes. Let's just move on. That was
Yeah, but remember what he asked? Certain questions about Des.
That is grounds. What did me about God bless his soul, my brother. That's grounds to you to get danced on. And I'm not talking about Magic City wise. That's grounds for you to get danced on. So I'm just gonna be real. So yeah.
I don't know how they let GMs get away with some of them questions.
They don't ask questions like that in standard job interviews. And granted, if they would, I guarantee you there will be a lot of furniture moving when it comes to that.
Mm.
Yeah. Not to mention, everybody was getting on him about him yelling on the sideline, but when they understood what was going on, passion, passion, passion. Well, if you took the time to realize what was going on with a lot of these wide receivers, you'd understand it's a lot more passion than them just being a deep. Like I stated before, I feel like a lot of wide receivers get a bad rap because they're quote unquote divas. Versus quarterbacks, they get to stand around there, yell, scream, and cuss out their damn coach, and then nothing is said about it. But at the end of the day, quarterback is the leader of the team. Wide receiver, you're just rolling behind with what the quarterback is saying. But yeah,
I say tweener. Dez did have some controversial issues. I hated the fact that he fell all the way late in the first round because before, remember the situation that he was involved with regarding Deion Sanders during his final year at Oklahoma State. Dez Bryant was projected to be a top 10 pick in that 2010 draft. And then, look, he had some other off the field issues. Remember, there was the one incident with him and his mom. But
Mm-hmm.
Dez Bryant, so far throughout his career, he turned it around. Even though I didn't agree with what he said about the Colin Kaepernick thing. Hey, I got a family to feed too. But overall, when it came to on the field, Dez brought a lot of passion, a lot of fire, rage. He was great with the 50-50 ball. Like, he was one of the best red zone threat receivers during his time. And remember the Texans game in which Tony Romo threw like a crazy pass and then Dez made a hell of a catch in that game. I believe it was in overtime. This was during the year in which the Cowboys went 12-4 and then lost to the Green Bay Packers. As BRF put it, it wasn't the catch wasn't a catch. So when I look at Dez Bryant, during that time, he was in that conversation for the best wide receivers in the NFL. There was Calvin Johnson, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. Dez was in that conversation. And he balled out the first year and he balled out in 2014. He broke Terrell Owens' record for the most touchdown receptions in Cowboys history. He also made first team All-Pro that year, leading the NFL in touchdown receptions. So when I look at Dez Bryant, I say tweener because, again, you got to look at some of the off-the-field issues, but so far he has turned it around, and he's still a part of the Dallas Cowboys.
yes, indeed.
So, all right, next one, champ. Hopefully we'll bring back BRF on the show. Stephon Diggs.
Look, he's a heel, but it's just like I stated, man. I don't know who else I said this about because it's kind of like the Rashid Rice thing. He just always into something. It's just like he's always into something. With all, it's not just all of the baby mamas. It's not just all of that because we have to acknowledge that's just not exclusive to one ethnic group. We've seen Tom Brady, and he's had multiple baby mamas and stuff like that. But with Stephon Diggs, it's not just that. You got your way out of Minnesota because you didn't want to stay at Minnesota. You got yourself out of Buffalo because you were beefing with Josh Allen and they were able to go to a Super Bowl without you. Well, excuse me, he was able to win the MVP without you. Not to mention, you got to think about this. You on the boat with Cardi B, and then you bringing out all of the, you acting like you on Grand Theft Auto Vice City. We'll leave it like that. Then on top of that, you finally, you get with Cardi B, and then you have your trouble right before the damn Super Bowl, where you couldn't wait until after the Super Bowl. Yeah. So the reason I label him a heel because the shit that he does is just so comical that it's just like, bro, what the hell do you be doing? Now you're released. And it's just like, bro, you couldn't wait to pump a jump until after the Super Bowl? Like, bro, I don't know what you're doing. Then you had the other girl there. It's like, bro, what the Stephon Diggs, bro, what are you doing, bro? But hey, man, it goes back to what his teammates in Minnesota said, bro. Who is the girl? Who is the guy on the team that you at least like to date your sister? And they all said
Every
Stephon Diggs.
single
So
one of
one
them.
would be Stephon Diggs, and it was just like, bro, damn. You couldn't work. I mean, how's a firecracker? Just can't wait, bro. Come on, man. You got to do better than Stephon Diggs, man. Like I said, I'm a fan of his because what he does on the field, he's very, very passionate. And man, look, I will never forget that game when he threw the helmet after the New Orleans Saints game, and
The
Yeah.
threw
Minneapolis
the helmet up
Miracle.
in the stands. And that was beautiful. But man, Stephon Diggs, bro, you have got to do better with being careful with your body, bro. You got to be careful with your body. You got to be careful with things that you're allowing to happen in your life, man. It's kind of like crazy. I understand that, hey, man, when you on top of the world like that, I should shudder to think how it would feel for you to just have ultimate access to everything. When you have access to everything, nothing is off limits. But at certain times, man, you got to understand that there's a lot of discipline that goes along with that. And you got to have that discipline. But Stephon Diggs, bro, you got to calm it down, man. You got to calm it down. Got to. I mean, hey,
What's he can't get right?
well, no, that's Rasheed Rice. But I mean, look, man,
Yeah.
but I don't know what to say. I can't give you a real nickname.
Blueface?
I don't know. Blueface. That's
He
what
got a bunch of them that kind of fit.
they kind of fit. Blueface is one of those guys that I'd love to meet him in the dark alley so I kick his ass, but just because he has a huge mouth, it's like, bro,
He do. Blueface do got a mouth
he's
on him.
like,
He do.
he's
Yeah,
like,
you
I just
right about
love to
that.
just meet you in the dark alley one day with no cameras around, so I could just beat your ass like you stole something, and then just leave out that alley. And you ain't got to tell somebody that I beat your ass. It's just, but it's weird, bro. It's like, bro, just because you have the power to do something doesn't mean. Plus, like I said, man, you had Cardi, you ain't have to do that. But it says a lot, bro. Hey, I ain't gonna go there. It just says a lot, man, when you keep when the I'll say this. And I'll it's gonna require a lot of comprehension when I say this. Look, ladies, listen to me. Just because you go around the corner after being bit by a dog doesn't mean that dog you just meet when you go around that corner is not that same dog. Just because that new dog is a Doberman and that last dog was a bulldog. If you really look at Offset and Stephon Diggs, they pretty much the same dog. And we have an old saying about things like that down south. Never let the same dog bite you twice. And just because that dog look different doesn't mean it ain't that same dog. So I would use this as a teaching moment for the ladies. It is International Women's History Month. Be careful about the dogs that you're running into, and be careful to make sure that these dogs ain't bite you, because him and Offset was one and the same. It's just like, damn, Carter, you just had to get bit twice by those guys. And people be cheering that shit on too. Yeah, no, and all of a sudden, oh, see, I told you. But it's just like,
Doesn't that also show you that Russell Wilson is not as bad as a man as people
Russell was
say he
never
is?
that bad. The problem is this, man. Look,
No, but here's the thing, Chip. The reason why I say Russell Wilson, if you were with a man like a Russell Wilson or a Klay Thompson, you probably wouldn't be in that situation.
yeah, but it goes down to what are you willing to sacrifice? I mean, a lot of people are willing to sacrifice peace for a little bit of excitement, just being real. I mean, and look, hey, let me just be real. For every one Russell, for every one Clay, there's a million of Stephon Diggs and Offset, bro. And I'm gonna just be real. It's a rarity, but I mean, and people talk about how Russell Wilson is, but he ain't making Sierra look stupid. You ain't got to hear about him When she go out somewhere, she ain't got to worry about him. So I mean,
But to your point, what does it say about the types of men that you're with? If you're with those types of men, then what does that say in your taste?
look, I'll say this. Try not to tell on myself on live television, but I'm gonna just be real.
You already told yourself on live television
And I'm just
anyway.
gonna be
What
real. Look,
difference would it
man,
make?
look, super. Hey,
You
man, look,
told on yourself just by saying that.
hey, look, super. Look, a lot of times Superman is addicted. A lot of times Superman in the comic book he couldn't avoid Harley Quinn. A lot of times, hey, women are not the only ones who have their problems with running into to the Joker. Sometimes Superman runs into the Harley Quinn. So, and I've ran into my share of Harley Quinns. It's fun. It's fun as fuck. So, but at the end of the day, it's the success ultimate failure. So I'm not just gonna say the ladies are doing that shit because, like I said, they call me the Superman and the Captain America of my group, and I've had a hard times in my younger days with Harley Quinn. But the shit was fun. The shit be fun as hell though, bro. But it's that excitement. You sacrifice peace for a lot of excitement. So women ain't the only one doing that shit. I used to do that shit in my younger days. When I was at my peak, when I was in my 20s, from like 21 to like 29, I was wild like hell. Look, just gonna be real. 9 times out of 10, from the ages of 21, well, from the ages of 24 till I was like 29, if you ran into me past the hours of 11 and 6 in the morning, I was more than likely drunk. So, and that was for years straight. So, yeah, when you're on the party scene like that, you run into a lot of Harley Quinns. And for women, you run into a lot of jokers at this point. I use comic analogies because I read a lot of them, but this shit is fun. But you have to wise up at an old age and say, hey, at a later age, I would say, not necessarily old age, a later age, I feel like, hey, that's not really the thing for me. And the thing is, what you're picking is what's in you. That's the thing. People don't like to acknowledge that. Well, what you're picking is what's in you already. That's just your outlet for expressing it. So what was in me already, that wild ass spirit, that party spirit, I'm going to drink all night long. I'm going to go get my Ric Flair on. I'm going to go act wild. That was in me as it was in them. It was just like, hey, you put that together. You put two wild ass people together. It's not going to work out as much as you think. Like I stated,
Right.
what we pick is in us. It's not just what we pick. It's what we choose within, what we choose within ourselves. And a lot of time, what we pick is within us. Like I stated, I ran into a lot of Harley Quinns in my lifetime, and that shit is fun. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who dated me probably considered me as the Joker of their life. But it was fun. But at the end of the day, you have to pick better for yourself, and you have to grow. So I don't blame Cardi for the excitement, and I don't blame Stephon Diggs for the excitement. What we pick is a lot of in us, and I don't blame them. Stephon Diggs, hell, if I'd have had Cardi, all right. So we two wild spirits, let's do it. Sometimes you fail, sometimes it don't. Not everybody can be Bonnie and Clyde, so let's just be very, very honest about it. So I mean, hey, what was in me, what is what's in them. So, well, what was in them and what was in me. I'm not gonna sit around here and that's like I don't ever people ever ask me about previous relationships. I don't ever blame them. I blame a lot of that shit upon both parties because we both was wild as hell. You can't contain that. You at your peak when you in your 20s, even in your early 30s, and so you don't slow down at red lights when you're driving a Ferrari. You drive through that damn thing. So that's how that is. And I was just 21, and I was just in my 20s and stuff like that. And like I said, I wasn't making millions of dollars and stuff like that. We wasn't doing all that. Can you imagine giving me millions of dollars at 26, 27 years old? Now I got to navigate. That would have been a fucking disaster. And with a
You probably spend all night at Magic City.
no, it wasn't just that. It was like spending money on shit that you know you don't need. Like
The unnecessary stuff, the
yeah,
unnecessary spending.
unnecessary stuff, the over exertion, thinking money can do
Mm-hmm.
anything. You know, when you get into people always want to talk about money in relationship nowadays, and people don't realize you can have the bag and still be settled for it right about now. You can have a big old bag and still get settled for it. But yeah, you know, a lot of the things that we pick are in us. And we don't like to acknowledge that because that's too much like acknowledging. What was in me, what was in them was in me. We was all wild and we was all acting crazy and we was all drinking Don Julio by the damn gallons every damn day. So it was just like, hey, it is what it is. But you know, you just can't blame that on a lady. Hell, look, I'm gonna just be real. It's International Women's History Month, bro. Let's just be
You being nice. You
no.
being too.
I'm just gonna be real.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
Let's
No,
not put all
no,
of
but
that
champ,
on the ladies about picking
I'm not
because
put.
I
I'm not.
used to
But
love them wild ass girls. My mom used to get onto my ass about that because I was in
you,
college. I was trying to study abroad. I was trying to do about that. I was to fly everywhere I went. Every time I went to work, and every time I introduced them,
but in the
yeah,
words of Lala, you keep picking up them type of men. I mean, you keep
yeah.
picking up the type of people with them ugly personalities.
But look, the shit was fun. I'm just gonna be real. When you're in your,
I don't mean I gotta try it.
of course you have to. Of course you must. Of look, I was hard headed as hell when I was in my 20s. So the first thing that I was gonna do, if you
Yeah.
if you told me not to eat the one chip challenge, I was gonna eat two, three of them.
You gonna eat it? You gonna do it?
No, I'm gonna eat two, three of them. That's the
You? Oh yeah, yeah.
so that was the thing. So I cannot tell you how many Harley Quinns I done ran into. But the shit was fun. And when we broke up, it was cool. You know, we broke off and we did our own thing. One no hard feelings, but you know, these days everything is kind of like on another level. So I mean, like I said, we just can't blame the women for the
I'm
dudes
not saying I'm not saying I'm blaming
because
all. I'm not saying I'm blaming
you're
all the
looking
women,
at a
champ.
guy who loved Harley Quinn. And the reason why I like Cardi B is because she reminds me
Because
like the
that's the
Harley
type of
Quinn
woman that
girl.
you. But what is it? But
Bruh.
champ, at the same time, what does it also say about Cardi B in terms of the type of men that you're with?
And
You want to be with the
and
type of
looking
men.
and Cardi B looking the way Cardi B look. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
Yeah, but at the same time, if you know you're a catch, if you're a catch, you shouldn't be settling for them type of men who continuously disrespect you and treat you like that. Essentially, what does it say also about you?
Yeah,
If you allow them to disrespect you like that, then you're also disrespecting yourself.
yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is Cardi deserves better than that.
Yeah, she
that's
does.
true.
And
Very
but
true.
like I said, I put it in a different perspective. Women aren't the only ones that do that shit. Where you go for these, I call them Mustangs, like I said, Harley Quinns, and then you go. Women ain't the only one that do this shit. Like I said, you're talking to a
Oh
guy.
yeah, men do that
You
stuff
know, you're
too.
talking to a guy that, like I stated, if you look at my friend group, they will tell you, you are the Superman of our group. You are the Captain America of our group. You are the war hero of our group. You very, very prestigious. You're educated. You're this. What the hell were you doing with those cats? What were you doing? I'm like, well, it was fun. So it was just like, okay, the fun outweighed the bullshit. So it was fun. Like I said, look, can you look? I'm just being real shit. If I was Stephon Diggs, I was famous. I'd have went for Cardi too. Shit. Hey, man, that chaotic shit be fun sometimes. That chaotic shit be
I mean,
I
as
wonder
a
what chaotic shit would you be if you actually were in an
oh,
entanglement
man,
with
fuck
Jada
that.
Pinkett.
Look, I was diabolical back in my younger days, so we gotta leave it at that. I
I'll
was a little
I'll
sneaky little character, and we were kind of the time, the smile, and the glasses were full of a lot of people. So I will just be honest with you. So yeah, so I'm not gonna lie.
as
It
a
was
as a man who is a girl dad at the cause of one of those chaotic kind of relationships. I understand. I understand completely. I understand completely.
yeah, man. Chaos was good. Look, chaos can be fun a lot of times. It's just when you don't have enough order or balance in order to get it back right. So yeah, sometimes, like I said, that's why I like Cardi B, because guess what? Had I been famous when I was 26, 27, maybe even 28 years old, yeah, I could have saw myself with Cardi. But I'm 39 now. I'm a little bit more calm. I don't drink anymore. I don't indulge anymore. I don't do none of that stuff that I used to do when I was in my younger days. So in my heyday, when I was the guy who you see now is different from Stay Scheming. They call me that name for a reason. They call me Stay Scheming for a reason. So
That's all that is all I need to know
so
as far as what was going on back in them
they
days.
call me Stay Scheming back then for a reason. So with that being said, I don't blame the women for a lot of the chaotic things that they go for, because I went for those, and you could best believe a lot of other dudes did too. So, shout out to
That's
both.
because you love them wags.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's fun. And the aesthetics is good as well. So a lot of stuff you will put up with because it's just like the aesthetics and it's fun. I mean, it could be the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in the same day. It's kind of like having a car accident and having a headache all at the same time. So it's kind of like that's how crazy it can be. But like I said, I don't think it's fair to put it all on you got to choose better women, because hey,
Well, I mean, no, I
a
mean,
lot of wild
well,
stuff happens when you are having like that Bunny and Clyde dynamic. Both of y'all wild. It's like,
I think at some point in time, Chip, it comes to a point because Sierra, look, after what she went through with all them type of men, finally she went down and settled with a guy like Russell Wilson. And say what you want about Russell Wilson being Captain America and all that, family man, good man, treats his family, treats his wife, kids with the utmost respect, doesn't get involved with any predicaments, doesn't get involved with any scandals. Klay Thompson, he was Megan Thee Stallion. And last time I checked, we don't hear any controversies regarding them. So my thing is, you got to be smart with the type of men that you're with. Yeah, I can understand it'd be fun with time to time, but evidently it does come to a point how you want to be treated, how you want to be perceived. That also plays a role as well.
that is legitimately fair.
BRF, what do you think on Stephon Diggs? Is he babyface, tweener, heel?
Oh, ain't nothing tweener about that Negro. He is a heel. he is a heel. He is a flat out heel. Now don't get me wrong. That man, I say has been one of the more productive receivers of the 21st century. Don't get me wrong. Like his last couple of years in Minnesota, and then how it translated into the career he had with the Buffalo Bills. He's definitely been one of the more productive guys in the league. But he's a heel, because let me tell you something. I want you to hey, just because your last name is Diggs, don't necessarily mean you have to live up to your namesake. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like your last, I'm just that's just we just gonna put that out there. But for me, he's a heel just for me. He's a heel just from the standpoint of just like it's really just a guy with his type of talent and the money that he's made for himself and the way he's been in the public eye. Some of the his decisions, his women decisions have just been bro, no, I mean Champ brought it up. When the Minnesota Vikings had that social media thing where they asked
all them players,
the entire team. Which guy on your team would you least likely to date your sister? I mean, it was Stephon Diggs in a landslide. That should tell you all you need to know about this man, and the fact that you've seen it play out in the public eye. The Minnesota Vikings at the time were obviously not lying the way it's played out in the public eye. So, I mean, just I don't know. He could have done so much better as far as his decision makers. I mean, you already know you don't you already know you have your fair share of baby mamas. I know this. Now, a woman like Cardi B, granted, she's not exactly the most innocent, but at the same time, she's trying to ground herself. You can tell in her mindset and like her conversations, she 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 wants to ultimately settle down, have a family. I mean, she tried to damn this with Offset, and it just never worked. And then you should have been like, that should have been it. And then it's just the decision making. Like, it's like you lose the Super Bowl and you lose your girl like on the same weekend. Like the whole baby mama thing sitting in the front row of the game, that shouldn't have even been a discussion. That shouldn't have even been an issue. Why are you doing that? I mean, I understand, if y'all are cool, that's fine. That's great. I'm still cool with my daughter's mom. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. But you still got to live your life at the end of the day. You got to move on past that at a certain point. You still got to live your life. You can't always be, for me, that's kind of like drifting backwards. And yeah, they are terrible. But that's a whole nother conversation. You can't always drift backwards like that in a situation like that. Me and my daughter's mom are still real cool. We talk, we still real cool. Am I ever gonna date her again? No freaking way. No chance. And there's no disrespect to her. It's just from the standpoint of, you gotta move forward. You have to move forward on stuff like this. So the fact that he even still had her in the public eye in a situation like this was just crazy. And then just all of and then just, and then just all of the happenings as far as like, the arrest and the beating the chef situation, whatever that was, and just, I don't know, man. For a guy who's as extremely talented as he is and as good as he's been over the past like number of years, your decision making is like bad, to say the least. And I'm being nice, just saying your decision making is bad, because I could use a lot worse terms than that. But for the benefit of those with YouTube and watching, we're not gonna do all that right now. So we just gonna try to keep it as PG as possible. We gonna try to keep it as PG as possible.
I don't know if we're gonna be more PG as possible with this next person I'm about to bring up.
Okay.
Sage Steele.
Next.
It's the fact with Sage Steele, when she was on ESPN, I had like the highest of hopes for her, because like, for one, you're a black woman in America, for one, and the fact that you have a job as high profile as being a Sports Center anchor and being a really good one at that, it's like, come on, man. Like, regardless of us three, we are for the culture, 150%. We are for the culture. Always, we'll always be that. And she is like undoubtedly 1,000% unequivocally heel. Unequivocally, she's a heel. I mean, she left ESPN and just lost her damn mind. She lost her mind.
She really have her mind, even when she was at ESPN.
I think on the
situation.
Remember what she said about Greg Hardy?
Yeah. I was getting ready. You know what? Yeah, on the back end of her ESPN career, she was losing it then. So it's like, and then you just see her and just the people she touts and speaks for and tries to speak highly of, and just she's okay we'll just say for the better
Not
part
to
of the
mention that
conversation,
she's doing interviews with Jason Whitlock.
That's what I was getting ready to say. She's one of those. She's one of those. She's one of those. It's like they will stop at nothing to say what our community is doing wrong, what we need to fix, what we need to do, what we need to do there, but won't speak on nobody else's downfall. We'll speak on nobody else's. We trust us as black people in America. We are so used to this, we are almost numb. We're almost numb to it. So, and just like, I don't know, like people like her, like Jason Whitlock, like the people like that who still have a public platform and are able to speak. and just are allowed to spew the nonsense that they spew without a lot of repercussions. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. And the one common theme I hear with people like that is, oh, so why are you mad that they're just coming out and they're being like free thinkers and all this other stuff? I'm like, so why is free thinkers only associated for people who speak and defend that side of the aisle? And that's the part that still kind of gets me more than anything, because I'm one of those, I don't really lean either way. I kind of lean how I feel is going to benefit me and my people. Just so happens it leans one way. I don't like to consider myself one of those, but I mean, look, at the end of the day, I want what's best for my folks. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. And just and someone like Sage Steele, just, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy where she's at right now. And now I think, from what I've understand, CBS wants her. So I think CBS wants her now. So it's like, great. That's the media in a nutshell. Sometimes it's like, it doesn't matter who the person is, what they speak for, what they stand for. At the end of the day, can they draw eyes to the product? And that's honestly what a lot of these media outlets are about nowadays. So, but yeah, Sage Steele for me has become one of my. I hate to say this about her. She has honestly become one of my least favorite people on this earth, and it's crazy. And it's crazy to say, but she really has.
BRF, the reason why I asked, because last week when you weren't on the show, I asked Champ for Babyface Heel. I mentioned Malika Andrews, and Champ and we said Heel.
I would
Initially,
have to
I
agree with you.
initially I said tweener only because I was being generous, but when Champ said Heel, I was like convinced, because how the way she portrayed Ime Udoka, portraying him as a sexual predator, the whole situation with Josh Giddey, how her and Steven,
What did it for me with Malika Andrews,
the Brandon Miller.
the Brandon Miller story, putting that out there on draft night. This man is like getting ready to get drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, getting ready to live his dream, and you had to put that story out there on Front Street to take away from his moment. And she does that with a. I'm not trying to do anything. She does that a lot with us.
Not to mention,
So,
remember the Michigan State player Adrian Payne, who passed
mhm.
away, and then she brought up the accusations.
Yeah, she brought up. Yeah, instead of focusing on the fact that this dude died, you want to bring up his bad stuff. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, I don't know, man. I can't.
No, I mean Sage
I don't
Steele
know.
and Malika Andrews. To me, they seem like a lot in common.
Hmm. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And it just, like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like we're the only community that has to like answer for a few. Like, a few does this, then it just puts the spotlight on all of us. Like, you see, we told y'all are like this, and it's like, really,
Really, really.
seriously, yeah.
And again, you're doing interviews with Jason Whitlock, and also Jason Whitlock declaring himself. He declared himself as the best sports writer, maybe ever.
Y'all know how I feel about. I'm not repeating what I said about Jason Whitlock. Y'all know how I feel about Jason Whitlock. I'm gonna just keep that at that.
Big fella.
Let me see. Really want to waste time talking about Sage Steele?
You could just say next.
I said that, but I just don't want to waste time, and she's not even worth the efforts of either one of us, to be honest with you. And all of the stuff that she really says, much like Jason Whitlock, she's the female version of Jason Whitlock, a lot of bullcrap and a lot of, in the great words of Jim Cornette, a lot of other buffoonery comes out of her mouth. And it's like, I understand being fair and impartial. That is your job in the media, to be fair and impartial. But when it gets to a point where you're always, it gets ridiculous at a certain point. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, move it along. It's like you're attacking the former first lady, and yeah, I don't know what to say about some of these reporters. it's just like I really feel like journalism has really gone out of the window at this point, and a lot of times you get a lot of points for either attacking someone in the media or being this biased, very very biased individual who doesn't really see. Dwayne, I'm gonna get you, bro.
Dwayne, my guy.
Dwayne,
Chill.
Dwayne, Dwayne, why you had to distract me like that, bro? You had to get the-
Lord have mercy. Holy shit.
Why you had to distract me like that? Good God, that is a worth. I can't even talk no more.
Actually,
Even talk about that.